Hello and welcome all. In a previous video in this channel, we have seen the headless installation and configuration of dietpi. In that process, we had to plug in the Raspberry Pi unit to a router via a LAN cable and had to log into the router or had to use an IP scanner to get the IP address that got assigned to the Pi in the network. Today, we will see how it can be done wirelessly by presetting the IP address. This means we don't have to log into the router as well. We will be using a Pi0W which has a built-in wireless LAN for this install. First up, let's get a copy of dietpi downloaded from the dietpi's website. Let's go to the download section and select Raspberry Pi. The image would be common for all Raspberry Pi models. Let's click Download to start the download process. Next, we will go to the download folder and use 7-zip to extract the files. We now have the image file to be burned to the SD card. We will use Etcher, a free and open source utility to burn this image to the SD card. Click Select Image and select the dietpi image from the download folder. Let's now insert the SD card to which the image has to be burned. Etcher has detected the SD card and let's click Flash to begin flashing the SD card. It's now performing a validation of the burn and has returned successful. Etcher has unmounted the SD card after its validation. So I will pull out the SD card from my laptop and insert it again. This has automatically opened the boot drive or the boot partition created by burning the dietpi image to the SD card. Let's open the text file named dietpi here and make some changes. Note that the modifications made to this configuration file will not be preserved on reboot and is applied only on the first boot of dietpi. To begin with, let's set the parameter auto_setup_net_wifi_enabled to 1 to enable the Wi-Fi. Again, note that if both Ethernet and Wi-Fi are enabled, Wi-Fi would take priority and Ethernet would be disabled. Next, we need to assign a static IP address for the Pi. Let's fire ipconfig to find the IP address range of the network that I'm connected to. From the output, we can see that an IP address in the subnet 10.0.27 have to be used for the Pi. So let's randomly assign 10.0.27.51. We have to use 10.0.27.1 as the gateway. Let's now quickly ping the IP address assigned to the Pi to ensure that this IP address is not being used in the network. We would generally get a response if that device is in use, and we are good here as the request timed out. If we get a response, try another IP in the same subnet, say 10.0.27.52. The DNS IP mentioned here is the Google's public DNS IP and we will leave it as it is. Next, set the parameter auto_setup_net_use_static to 1 to enable Pi to use the static configuration to connect to the Wi-Fi network during the setup process. That's all in this file, so we can save and close it now. Next, we will go back to the boot drive and open the file named dietpi-wifi. Here, we need to provide the SSID and the passkey of our Wi-Fi network. As we see here, I am presently connected to the network Daniels 2.4 and we will use the same SSID for our Pi. I have the network credentials copied here already. So let's now copy it to the configuration file. We will leave dietpi.txt as the security protocol. That's all here, so let's get the file saved. We will now remove the SD card and insert it to the Pi. At this stage, I've powered up the Pi with the SD card we configured in it. Let's now ping the IP address we allocated to the Pi, which is 10.0.27.51. Looks like we don't have a response yet. During the first boot, the OS has a few tasks to complete, like extending the file system before attempting a network connection. So we have to give it some time. Let's also trigger a continuous ping so that we get to know once it's connected to the network. We now see a response, and that means the Pi has registered successfully with the router. This took around 3 minutes for me from the time Pi was powered up. Now we will attempt a SSH connection to the Pi to continue with the rest of the installation process. The default root password is dietpi in small letters. At this screen, provide new passwords for the global as well as the default Unix users. We will keep the serial console disabled. Now is the time to list any additional softwares you wish to install along with this initial setup. We will skip this now. We can also do this later with dietpi-software command. System has resumed rest of the installation process now. So let's fast forward here. Installation is now complete and Pi has to go for a reboot. Let's reconnect to the Pi now. To further configure the network, use dietpi-config command. That's all we have in this video. Hope that was helpful. Please share your feedback as comments and likes. Thanks for watching. Bye.